Huh? No.
You want to just do 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, so can we all agree? This is our friend Scott, by the way. So just so we're all here for the other thing.
Oh, okay.
Scott refused to come to the other thing. He said,
Yeah,
no.
I was like, no.
I'm too old for comics.
They're putting words in my mouth.
So Elizabeth and I have done this a fair amount, and I would like to propose something to make this a slightly better show for all of us. Would you all guys mind coming a bit closer? And I know that's sometimes a weird thing to ask.
It doesn't have to be the first row.
Yeah, pardon me. It doesn't have to be the first row. Maybe like the front 2 or something. When we're all spread out, that's too much.
Oh.
Do you not want to use the?
Yeah. Also,
I
I'm
love when
gonna.
we're the only two that are saying it like this.
Yeah, you're fine. We want. Look, I've been an audience member in a lot of shows where people are like, "Come on, everybody, move close." But
at least there's seats.
yes, and
Sometimes they're not seats. You're like.
in this kind of context, we've discovered that I don't know. It's a lot of room in here. It's just better for all of us if we kind of have a more little intimate thing. Even so, I'm not going to use this. I'm just going to hit the piano really hard and scream from over here.
You do kind of have a built-in microphone.
Yeah, I used to be yelled at, especially when I was like your guys' age, and especially when I was your age, for being way too loud and talking too much in class and always goofing off and being silly. And now all those things that I was yelled at for as a child are what make me a good performer, and I get paid for them. So it's a weird life sometimes you live. What's going to happen? We are going to start a show. We're going to play 8 songs, and in that time, Elizabeth is going to start and finish an entire painting. If any one of you here, including you, by the way, Sarah, just because you work here does not mean you're necessarily.
That's true.
If you're thinking to yourself, man, that painting would look fantastic next to all the My Chemical Romance posters that we all have back home, all over our wall. There is a notebook over there. You can put your name, put a bid. I understand it's a small little bit of us, and maybe only like half of you have
Money.
of any kind of substance. Still, if you would like to go home with the painting, we auction them off at every single show, just to whoever happens to be there. Just you guys all decide kind of what it is. Cash card, Venmo, Cash App, any of that. We can do it all. I have no idea what Elizabeth is going to paint. I never know. I'm going to find out exactly as you guys are. And in the meantime, I'm going to hit this piano and scream and try to prove to you guys that we are the best band in the entire world. I understand we probably won't necessarily get that in your mind, but make no mistake, we're trying to do that. If you ever see a band and they're not trying to be the best band in the world, they are not giving you their all.
Guaranteed to be the best one in this room.
Mm.
For sure.
I'm gonna say we're gonna try to convince all you guys that we're the best band ever to play the McFarland Library.
There you
Right?
go.
That's
Yeah, why don't we start with this?
We got 2 more coming.
Awesome. Other people are coming. Great. Actually, let's do you. Would you like to hear a song about hope or a non-depressing song about death?
Okay. Oh, those are great options.
I got no jacket on, walking in my bare feet, arms covering arms, and the storm is about me deep. Is the direction gone? I've got no compass either, not even close to dawn. fraction of time. I consider every option to stay within my prime. Perfection is a goal I'll get behind. I know that's an impossible prayer, but I'll miss the mark much better if I aim right there. Getting closer, never arriving seems worth the care. It's such a dirty lake that I have to swim. I push myself right in. And there are promises I made you. So, my muscle season. But it's possible. Somehow I'm free to miss. But the bosses are astounding. Cold can't hold back feeling. The winter's dark, but I refuse to be pessimist. Freezing everything within my view. Perhaps the best thing I should do is lift my hands and release the control I am attempting to Thanks, everyone. Okay, so for you guys, what's your name? And we met like a decade ago, right?
Indie coffee.
Yeah, good to see you. So everyone else in here, everyone, yeah. For you to be here, you have to look around, laugh at the situation slightly, and we'll all get past it. We're having a good time, right? Great. Now that you're there, welcome back. You may be asking why we're playing in a library when, screaming stuff we usually play in bars, coffee shops, basements, anywhere basically that will have us. But about a year and a half ago, we released a book. I know some of you sort of mentioned some of this earlier, but we released a book about a 2019 tour where we tried to break the world record for playing a show in every single state in the fastest amount of time and how it just destroyed our mental health. Throughout the songs and stuff, I'm going to sort of regale you with that story a little bit. The book gets into it in much more detail. But to start, I first became aware that there was a world record for such a thing, and I thought, what is it? And it was 50 days. Someone just played a single show in a single state once for 50 days. And I thought, that's very beatable. And I told Elizabeth, and she said, that's very beatable. And then we're like, right, we should do that. Everyone else in our life said, no, that's a terrible idea. You'll ruin yourself. Like, we don't have any driver. We don't have any type of record label. It's all, we book all our shows. I emailed Sarah randomly and was like, can we come play your library? And she's like, yeah, sure. It's just all kind of people. And, we don't have any framework or business around us outside of the two of us. And we went about it, realized that the Guinness World Records are very strict, understandably, but it became obvious that we couldn't do it within the confines of the rules that they were setting. For instance, we could not play a place or a room that was less than 100-person capacity. I don't know if this room would be technically counts as like 100 people could be in here at once. So this wouldn't count. Had to be all public property. Sometimes we play in someone's like living room, and that's technically private property. All those shows would be going for us. Most egregious of all was we had to pay for two or three different Guinness representatives or government officials or something to attend every single show, and we were responsible for paying for their food, travel, and lodging. Yeah, I know. It's your faces. Yeah, exactly. And so we thought, screw that, let's just do it ourselves. And so we decided to make this tour to do it in 45 days. That was our goal. We're going to start in Connecticut, sort of, if you're familiar with the United States, sort of worm our way like a big W around the lower 48, hit Alaska, end in Hawaii. We figured we had a 5-day buffer. If we played Hawaii, we could like catch a plane to like Texas or whatever that we missed, or some got canceled or whatever if somehow, there was some issue. Yeah, I'll do another one. Let's do some more choose your own adventure. Scott,
Oh God.
would you? I'll say this: fast or slow song?
Slow.
Okay, great. You, sir, at the end.
Yes.
Would you like to hear a song called Brittle Wolf, or would you like to hear a song called Be Here Now?
Be here now.
Okay, great.
Sounds like it fits slow.
Yeah, well, this is more or less about. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to meditate, but it's weirdly hard, just sitting still. And I find sometimes, I don't know about the people who you guys run with, but oftentimes in a lot of groups all throughout my life, people have been, you got to be in present, you got to be there, you have to be, and it's very exhausting to be present and meditate and stuff. And this song is more or less reflecting on that experience. The stillness, it's fractaling out my conscience. Sift through the sounds, the pathless, oscillating vibrations. Forgive me, please, I'll attempt to obtain my atonement. But I'm so exhausted from trying to live in the moment. I'm exactly enough. Now I'm hungry. This meditation is boring. I'm sleepy. This is not efficient. Why am I here? Tumultuous static. Forgive me, please, I'll attempt to obtain my atonement. But I'm so exhausted from trying to live in the moment. Be here with me now. Come close. I have no idea how. And it shows there is no time at all. Forgive forgive me, please. I'll attempt to obtain my attorney. But I'm so exhausted from trying to live it up. Thanks, everyone. Day one, we did Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts all in a single day. It was the only 3-show day of the tour. Connecticut, 1 p.m., 6 p.m. Rhode Island, 11 p.m. Massachusetts. And as we were driving home from the Massachusetts show, we were both like, that was exhausting, but I'm feeling pretty good. This is going to be a breeze. The next 50 states are going to fly by. The next 47 states are going to fly by. I know, I caught it the same time you did. You had eyes of like, wait, that does not. I was thinking of Guam and Puerto Rico and other.
It's
And
fine.
DC.
Just think of it more next time.
So there was, though, some friends who came to the 3 shows that kind of followed us Grateful Dead style that day. And as we were packing up our car at the end, he was helping us bring some stuff out. And he was saying goodbye, and he's like, hey, have a great time. We're really rooting for you guys. And then he kind of got serious, and he like looked us in the eyes and was like, just so you know, I'm counting on you to do this. And we were just like, okay. Because full disclosure, the only kind of the main reason we did this was just for attention, basically. We kind of thought that, maybe if we were playing at McFarland Library or whatever, and there was a poster that was like, hey, this band is trying to break a world record, come see what they, then we try to, maybe get another fan or two. It was purely a marketing thing, and when you're at our level, it's try to do what you can. And a big thing that we usually judge our compasses by is Elizabeth and I kind of think, what would we love, like a band we love, what would we love to see them do? And like my favorite band in the world, I would love it if they did blank. Okay, great. Can we do that? Let's see if we can do that. And I don't know, breaking a world record kind of seemed like one of those things. Little did we know that our friend was the first of many people that kept coming out. We hit, I think, Maine was number 4, and then New Hampshire, Vermont, kind of did all of New England, and kept going. And folks, both that we knew and also just fans of ours who we didn't really know, kept coming up to us and looking us in the eyes and being like, I'm counting on you to do this. And it almost seemed like people were starting to treat us like a sports team going to like the playoffs or whatever. Of like, they got to go all the way. And yeah, that was a whole aspect we really didn't anticipate as we began, which in retrospect kind of seems like obvious, but I don't know. We just were doing our own thing. Would you want to hear a song called Death's Favorite Daughter about a warrior that is feared throughout the land? Or do you want to hear a song called Camera, which is written all in the second person perspective?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Dad's Favorite Daughter.
All right, great. Sometimes a lot of our songs are biographical, but back in September, we released autobiographical. And back in September, we released an album called Rabbit on Fire of all very like kind of harder rock songs, but all of them some of them are still first person perspective and stuff, but they're like they're all sort of story songs. And I don't know why, but I had this piano riff and somehow one thing led to another, and it became about a Joan of Arc type warrior person. Tossed it to him like it was a gift. Screaming, he dropped and made a mess on the floor. Blood had trailed throughout the corridor. against 100 or more. Her only dancing partner was a sword. She twirled and twisted like a rabbit on fire, smooth motion, unbroken heart. I don't trust you, little child. Yes, I've heard stories of your kind. Savior in the slaughter. Death is found, her favorite daughter. Happy with choices she made. She wipes blood off of her blade. Knowing it's dark and shade. I don't trust you, little child. Yeah, I've heard stories of your kind. Singing in the slaughter. Death is found, her favorite daughter. Cool, thanks. I'd like to point out one thing that I want to keep happening, but I just wanted to let you know because it might seem a little weird. Clapping after songs. It's a good thing. It's a norm we're all used to. You don't, it might seem a little odd because there's, a little small little pitter, just small of us thing. But when it goes away, everyone's like, what is happening? It's just weird to finish like, cool, thanks. So like it's just an odd, and there's only been a handful of times where the people who were at a show just didn't think that clapping was necessary, and they just be like, cool, or like something like that, and it just doesn't work. So I know it might be a little, but for all of our sakes, not that we need the praise, but we'll just continue to clap. I don't know, just so we all know. Also, fair warning, not really warning, none of our music is worse than what I would consider PG. But I know I just did a song about someone who's violent, but don't worry. Yeah.
I'm a parent.
I know, but your child's not here at the moment. I wanted you to be okay. You guys seem cool and everything, but just so you know, it's not like, all right, this one is about hardcore, whatever. It's just, it's all, yeah. Worked our way down the East Coast. Got to Alabama. That was a whole thing. Do you know like stereotypes about Alabama? We encountered all those. It was weird. People weren't very kind. But we kind of were working our way up. Show 25 was actually in Chicago, Illinois. That was another 2-show day. We did Indiana and Illinois at the same time. And I remember that was halfway through. Same day, I'm sorry. And halfway through, and Chicago was actually a house show in someone's apartment in like the middle of the city. And we were like feeling pretty good. And we were like, yeah, you know what? Sleep was starting to get tough. we were driving, every single day, but I think the longest drive at that point was maybe 5 hours, working our way to all the states. We were doing all right. I don't know if you've ever seen a map of the United States, but they seem like they really fought over the early colonies and were and then as they got west, they're just like, we're tired. And the states just get bigger. And they were just like, you know what, you can have all that land, that's fine. That'll just be whereas all of New England can fit easily into, Colorado or whatever. And we just didn't anticipate that when you're going 25, 25, well, no, that was probably 23 or 22 days in when we got to show 25. But it was, I don't know, it was weird. We were also in a weird mindset because there was no past. It was all about right now, and then where are we going tonight or tomorrow? It was as soon as a moment was over, we got to pack up, we got to go. We weren't processing anything. And because of that, there's actually a lot of those days we don't really remember on the tour. When we started making the book, the first thing we did is okay, let's go through every day and write down everything we could remember. There were some days where both of us were just I know we somehow got from Oklahoma to New Mexico, but how that happened is just gone. And as our mental health and just kind of this weird thing just kind of kept going down as the tour went on the graph, what kept going up was just people both in person and also online, commenters and people being like, you got to do this. We're counting on you. You have to. And so it was kind of almost one thing was replacing the other. And it just amplified even more and more with every day that went forward. And we were also starting to get on shaky grounds. We avoided a tornado in Tennessee to play the show. There was we played, I think, South Dakota a few days after the Chicago was, there were floods that literally blocked off the town we were going to play in for 3 days. And they subsided the day before we came and hey, you couldn't have gotten here. There were all these things. We were just really threading the needle. Some of the shows were to a lot of people, some were to none, but everyone was just kind of excited, yeah, you got to do this. The closer it got, and every single one, more and more, it was it's you can kind of feel it. I think it's going to happen. Did you pick a song? No. Okay. I'm going to give you some options.
Oh no, I'm scared.
First, let's pick out. So we have very themed albums. Do you want? We have a whole album about non-depressing songs about death, or would you like me to pick a song from an album of angry prayers and theological uncertainty?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm going to do the second one. I guess the second one.
The second one, angry prayers and theological uncertainty. Okay.
I mean, this one won. I don't care.
Tell you what, I'm going to give you a twofer because there are two songs in that I want to play. They work right into one another. So everything I said about clapping, don't worry about that after the first one. But then after the second song, I'll give you a signal, and you'll know. I'll be God. That cool with you? Okay, great. I would like to be overwhelmed by your grace. I'm certain the living Lord is undoubtedly there. So much of you is lost on me. Surely you see the desire I have, for that not to be the case. Did you leave me, or did I leave you? Did you leave me, or did I leave you? I thought the afterlife so why not some more? Is it possible to find solid ground? Place where I will not have to wonder if I'm about to drown. Did you leave from me, or did I leave from you? Did you leave from me, or did I leave from you? You really should have been there when he was punching the wall. The physical pain distracts from his emotional brawl. And God, you know I have been there. I think my heart might feel too much. Depending on the day, it's an advantage or a crutch. That's when I saw he was cutting. But no, not for the attention. The guys are bubbling deep within him. The guys are bubbling deep within him. Ignored suppression. Part of him thought it was funny how someone who was given much could see no other avenue than an aggressive touch. The holy silence, it genuinely frightens me. Are you truly listening, nodding your head casually? Or did you go back to someone more worth your favor? Oh, I'd understand if you would only speak, but you never say goodbye when you leave. No, you never say goodbye when you leave. The thought of you as a product made to fix my demeanor. Like I'm a dirty carpet and you're a vacuum cleaner. And now I see I'm a product of a mindset I don't know. Unable to sit still and stare into the unknown. I've always told you speak through me, but it feels like my own words. The more I think about it, I flip-flop on what I've learned. But if you're there, you speak through me. 'Cause we all share the one name. At a molecular level, everything is the same. Oh, the holy silence, it genuinely frightens me. Are you truly listening, nodding your head casually? Or did I go away to someone more worth a favor? Yes, I understand if you would only speak, but you never say goodbye when you leave. No, you never say goodbye when you leave. You know, I thought I was angry, but then I met your dad. He commands a rage too dark for me to understand. I focus on what I can see when my brain straight. Then again, it's all perspective, right out of the gate. I'm on the edge of forgiveness, but I'm not the will to jump. My insides are paradoxes, tangled in the clumps. Okay, you teach me forgiveness. It's all agreed to any deal. Someday I hope to forgive you for not being real. In the holy silence, it genuinely frightens me. Can I truly listen to a spiritual need, or do I go away deep inside my own creations? I'd understand if I could truly see that you never say goodbye when you leave. No, you never say goodbye when you leave. That was a joke that I don't believe you were here for. Welcome. Just to catch you up real quick, long story short, my name is Eric, that's Elizabeth, she's playing, I'm playing piano. We have 3 songs left. We released a graphic novel where we played a show in every state in the fastest amount of time back in 2019 and made a whole memoir about it, which is why we're playing in the library right now. Where was I in the story? Right, so we got down Shreveport, Louisiana. I yelled at a guy. He was, I'm not an angry person. I don't know, rage never doesn't feel good. And I never really had that much, but I was talking, and as you can see, I do that during shows. And I was just like telling some story or something before a song, and there was some guy at a bar, and there was maybe 8 people in this whole bar. And he just said loudly, he's like, just play the song! Something like that. And before he was done saying that sentence, I just screamed into the microphone, shut up! I was surprised. Elizabeth was surprised. She turns and looks at me like, what are you doing? And I was just like, sorry. It just, we were not sleeping well. We were driving it. It was really starting to catch up with us. Elizabeth got sick around that time to where there was a week of the whole tour that she couldn't sleep laying down, or else she'd start coughing like it was something. And so she had to try sitting up to sleep, which is never fun. And then we got to Colorado, which something happened. We weren't really expecting. I think this was show 42. We were kind of getting towards the final stretch. And it was at a place we played. We love it. It was in Denver. And Elizabeth fell asleep right next to the loudspeakers of the band playing before us. It was on a bill with a bunch of other bands. And I was like, hey, wake up, time to play. And she gets up. And then, do you want to tell the story of?
I left all space and time. My mind, because we were so stressed, decided to check out. So right when I stepped onto the stage, went blank. I couldn't remember who I was, where I was, nothing. And very slowly, it felt like hours were passing. Very slowly, I looked around. I was like, well, I have this gear. I feel like I'm supposed to do something with this gear. And I looked out. I was like, oh, there's a lot of people here. They are looking at me. Maybe I'm supposed to do something for them. And it all came back together. And I was like, okay, got it. I'm playing a show. I'm going to paint.
My name's Elizabeth.
Let's do this. And for Eric, that was a couple of seconds of time. But yeah, for me, it was just it just stretched on forever. We put this experience into the graphic novel that we made, but what we didn't put in is that this actually happened twice more while we were on the tour. And it was just, we were moving so quickly and we were meeting so many people and we were traveling so far that my brain was just I can't handle this anymore. I need to take a break.
There's maybe 2 seconds. From my perspective, I was kind of setting up too, and I just saw her only thing she's oh, that was weird. That was and I was like, what? And she's like, I'll tell you later.
But yeah, I mean, we named the book "How to Completely Lose Your Mind" because it was just such a stressful, exhausting, wild situation that we were going.
Yeah. And I mean, that was one of several other kind of things like that we're just like, oh man, it's not healthy for us to be doing this. But again, even at that point, even for us, it was like 40, we're show 42. Like, we only have 8 left. We gotta do it. We gotta keep going. And more people as it comes. Like, sometimes we forget to post, you know what I mean? Like on a day or something. And then we post, oh, hey, we just did this one or whatever. And then we'd get a bunch of comments of people being like, oh, thank goodness. I thought because you didn't post yesterday, I thought like you didn't make it, or, and there was just, it felt like it was a good amount of pressure. It wasn't like people were being rude about it or like, I'm going to kill you if you don't do this. It wasn't like that, but it was just like, we felt like, yeah, okay, we have kind of this weird little thing of those paying attention to us is on our shoulders of, okay, we're going to do this. And we eventually got all the way to in 43 days to Washington State, played a house show in Seattle, and it was one of the best shows of the whole tour. It was absolutely fantastic. We kind of went to bed. We had to get up. Went to bed at 12:30 or 1 in the morning and had to get up at 4:30 to catch a flight, an 8 a.m. flight. And I'm going to say that as a cliffhanger of what happened that morning, which really threw us for a loop. I know I've been letting people pick songs stuff. I'm actually going to pick this next one because about a year ago, I'll try to keep this brief. I got into a bunch of music that was a lot of different pianists, usually it's European modern composers, who would record themselves playing on the piano for 10, 20 hours and then find the best 40 minutes. And it was all improvisation and just try to find an album. And I thought, I wonder if I could do that. So over the course of a month, about a year and a half ago, I recorded 10 hours, I think, total, and went through it. About 80% of it was terrible, but there was a solid 2 hours that were that's pretty good. And then of that, we made it down to about 42 minutes of what we felt was actually really, really good kind of instrumental piano music. It's our purple album over there. It's called Painless Filled with Candles. And it's very different from everything else we've done, but just as a creative person, we were talking about this in the comic thing. It was I just was can I do that? I think I can do that. Let's see. And I just went with it. And writing comics or writing anything, a lot of it wasn't great, but we found the good stuff in there. I can't play any of those songs because obviously they were written at the exact moment they were recorded. But for funsies, I'm going to try to make up something on the spot right now. This will be something I'll never play again. It'll just be for us. And here, it might be bad. It might be good. I don't know. But either way, it'll be ours. Is there anyone who knows anything about music theory? Can you give me a starting chord?
F major.
Great. Okay. I'm going to start on F major. And just tell you what, I'm going to go back to you. Fast or slow? Okay, great. I'm going to start on F major, a little on the slower side, and for the next 2 to 5 minutes, I'm going to try to make something, and we'll see what happens, okay? Also, I'm a little nervous right now, and I don't usually get nervous anymore with things, and so it's kind of fun to be nervous again. Actually, I'm going to stop there. No, this is a little shorter, but yeah, I don't know. That was that. So we wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Elizabeth's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm like, great. Hey, guess what? We're staying with a friend. And I was like, he was going to drive us to the airport. We're going to leave all our stuff pretty much there. We just had backpacks. We're going to rent equipment in Alaska and Hawaii. Plan was fly to Alaska, playing Anchorage at 9 p.m. that night, catch a red eye to Hawaii, bada boom, record complete. When she left, I decided to open up my laptop, double check the email with our plane tickets. I had gotten these months before. And I mean, it was like early in the planning, the tour wasn't even planned, and we're like, okay, we're going to commit to this. We're buying these plane tickets just from Seattle to Anchorage was $800 for for two people. I guess $400 each. But we had set some money aside. We kind of saved up for the thing. And we had even just made money on the tour that we're like, okay, we can do this. Open up the email, and it's like Alaskan Airlines, 8:00. I'm like, so far so good. I continue reading, and then I see one of the scariest things in my life. It said PM instead of AM. I had booked tickets for 8 PM that same day instead of 8 AM. I started having a panic attack. I was like, wait, no, this must be the wrong email. I started searching, to try to find something else. I could not believe. Elizabeth double checked it when we ordered. We triple checked, made sure everything was right, and not to brag, but we're kind of poor, and so we got the cheap, no refund, insurance, no insurance, or you can't refund them tickets at all. So there was nothing we could even do about this. I was like, oh my God, if we have to get new tickets, that's like a sizable chunk of just the money we made that we just have to live on for our lives and everything. And I was just freaking out. Elizabeth comes back from the bathroom, sees me in this state, and is like, what is happening? And I was just like, I tried to say what was going on. And then our friend kind of woke up and came, and he's like, hey, you ready to go? Whoa, what's going on? And Elizabeth did that thing that for those of you who've been in long-term relationships, you will probably understand this dynamic, where one person will start freaking out and the other person decides to be like, I am a stone soldier and I will handle everything that will come my way with no emotional involvement. She decided to take up that role. I just was freaking out. I was so tired. Again, we only got 3 hours of sleep that night after months. She's like, get your stuff. We're going to the airport. We're going to do this. There still was an 8 a.m. flight from Seattle to Anchorage that we could get on and buy new tickets if we needed to. Our friend drives us. I'm just a wreck the entire time. We get to the airport around 6 a.m. Immediately, we see a help desk for Alaskan Airlines. We get in it. It's a long line. We wait about an hour. The entire time we're on our phones just checking, trying to come up with contingency plan after contingency plan of how we can get to Anchorage, Alaska by 9 p.m. that night and play this show. We finally get up to the front. It's 7 a.m. now. Again, the plane leaves Anchorage. We're not even through security. And this guy calls for us up. His name is Greg, and he greets us with a smile. Now, Greg has chosen his whole career to be a guy who gets yelled at by angry people at the airport who have problems that he likely can't necessarily even solve. And they just come up to him and be like, why did my child leave the stuffed animal back home? And he's like, I can't help you with that. But they sue him or whatever. That's his whole job. He greets us with a smile at 7 a.m. He's probably been doing that a few hours already. And he's like, hey, how can I help you? And I'm like, Craig, I just very calmly, I kind of come down to it at this point. I was like, we have been on the road for the last 43 days. We're trying to break this world record tour. I bought these tickets months ago. It was for the wrong flight. I made the mistake, not you guys. I've looked through the fine print and stuff. I don't see anything that we can do, but is there anything we've overlooked, or is there any is there something we can do before we have to buy new plane tickets? And Greg just kind of calmly thinks for a second, goes, wait here a minute. And he leaves. Elizabeth and I are just kind of waiting there. Again, the line is still very long behind us, of all people very angry and kind of oh God, when he left, it's oh, I can't believe he's leaving. It's probably just angry at him. 5 minutes later, very calmly comes back. He just kind of gets behind his desk. And then he just kind of leans forward and goes like this. And so both Elizabeth and I both lean forward. And he just goes, yeah, I changed your flight to 8 a.m. You're all good. And we were just like, we both just start like crying. Yeah, the stone face is gone. Like we're both just like crying at this point. And I don't know why I did what I did next. I like to think it's because I care and I'm a curious person. But for whatever reason, I decided to argue with Craig. I was like, does your manager know about this? Craig, we ordered the tickets that aren't refundable. You know that, right? I don't think you're supposed to do that. I want to talk to your superior. Like, I just couldn't believe. I was like, why are you doing that? It's against the rules. How? And I just needed to know. I just couldn't. That's just how I reacted. And he very calmly was just like, yeah, no, I asked my boss. I was just like, hey, can I change these people's tickets? And my boss was like, are they kind? And he's like, yeah, they're kind. And so the boss was like, yeah, sure. That's it. You just break laws if you just kind to people. Yeah, it literally saved it. Like, and so we were both like, oh my gosh. He finishes, typing up. It took a few minutes. It's like 7:10. He looks up and he's like, He sees the long security line and he goes, follow me. And he walks us right through that like rich person lot, like, you know what I mean? That like have the super flyer miles or whatever. I've never walked through that. It's much better. It's like, it treats you, it's so great. The x-rays are just like cooling and they get rid of your pores. You feel awesome at the end of it. Craig says bye to us and walks back to his job. We have not seen him again to this day. I don't even know if he knows he's in the book. We run to the gate. We get there 2 minutes later. They open up the airplane. We were able to make that 8 a.m. flight. Are you guys familiar with the idea of cute aggression? Yeah, of course you. It's when you like see a puppy or a kitty or something real cute and you want to like squeeze it, like somehow, like you don't want to hurt it, but it's just like when something's so cute, like babies sometimes, and you just want to like get it. I found I react the exact same way when someone is really, really kind to me, because when we got on that plane, Greg had upgraded us to business class. I'd never been on business class before. It is great, and I was just like, Greg, like I just couldn't handle how that was. We like get there seated, and even before we left, the flight attendant comes up and is like, hey, would you like something to drink? And I was like, I've seen in movies and TV shows that there's alcohol for free in this section. Can I have some alcohol, please? And she was like, well, it's 7:45 in the morning. I was like, I don't care. Give me a whiskey to calm down and a hot black tea to wake up. So the whole flight, I was just like double fisting it, like back and forth. And the entire time too, we were like, okay, when we get there, we have to like find like an Uber or something, and then go to the place to get the equipment and all. We were like talking about this, and the person sitting next to us was like, hey, I couldn't help it over here. I'm renting a car. I'll give you a ride to the place. And we're like, it was so overwhelming, the entire thing. But we got there. We ended up getting to Anchorage. We played the show that night. We caught a red eye. My cousins who live in Alaska, like 4 hours away, drove and then came to the show and then drove us back to the airport that night. And we ended up getting a little Hawaii, and that was, frankly, Hawaii is a whole other story I'm not even going to get into right now. But we ended up doing it, and we broke the world record. And it's not official or anything anywhere, but we did it in 44 days, 13 hours, and 50 minutes from Connecticut to Hawaii. And afterwards, we took a little bit of time in Hawaii. We stayed with a fan who was there. It was very, very kind. We visited some friends of ours on the West Coast, and then had to drive all the way back to Connecticut. We both started suffering from panic attacks afterwards. We both had all sorts of mental blocks. I couldn't rest. Reading a book, playing a video game, watching a movie felt like I shouldn't be doing it. I should be moving. I should be stuff that, and this is like 2019, like then the pandemic and kind of exasperated some of these things. And like we're still, even with, we both see therapists and stuff, and we're still working through some of these things in the book, but we ended up doing it. And it was an amazing story. And sometimes people ask us like, was it worth it? And it's like, I don't like that implies that it's like trading one thing for another. And it's like, I don't know, it just happened that way. And we're glad we did it. I don't know if it was worth the mental. Look, at this point, if you like all this story and want a lot more of it, we have the book, I'll say that. But I know I talked for a long time. Yeah. But we have 2 more songs, and then we will finish. Do you want me to skip bleed? Maybe.
What were you planning on doing?
Oh, I was gonna do bleed.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm gonna do a song called "Bleed Like a Victory," which is more or less about.
It fits with the story you're telling.
Yeah, it's on that story album, the Rabbit on Fire, the one we came out with in September, and it's more or less a story of me imagining someone losing their desire to make art, and I assume if that happened, you just feel free to like rest and like not like stay up super late thinking about all the things you can do. And anyway, but this is also one of my favorite songs to play.
Bleed and then chair.
Okay. All right, I will.
Great.
Like Bleed Like Victory, and then end with a song called "Chair from Your Bones." It's a love song about making furniture out of someone who has passed. Again, it's very child appropriate. You're like looking at me like, do you know how old I am? I don't think this is appropriate for my age. It's okay. We'll get there. I'm playing the hit. Oh, it punched me squarely in the jaws. Nearly missed a beat. But the audience had no clue. What was I doing? Oh, I walked through the motions. I knew I was done long before anyone. The loud applause no longer works. What a swift and explicit change. I've lost my passion. What the heck happened? I've lost my passion for playing and singing on stage. What once was a joy now works like a cage. What a swift and explicit change. Well, I mourned, but I also felt free. Oh, the mountainous sense of approval for my art was no longer a need. And the wide expanse of performance had lost its romance. For the first time I knew the unsettling glee of living without any plan. Creating songs no longer worked. What a swift and explicit change. I've lost my passion. What the heck happened? I've lost my passion for playing and singing on stage. What once was a joy now works like a cage. What a swift and explicit change. Oh, I bleed like a victory. Yes, I bleed like a victory. Oh, I bleed like a victory. Yes, I bleed. looked me in the eye as I broke the group up and I said my goodbyes. You know I never looked back. Still have no idea why. What a fast, dramatic surprise. I came to it had amused because of my world without a hues that I had ever seen before. And every inch felt unexplored. Oh, it was terrifying, and I wanted more. Reconnecting with old friends, reading books through to the end, or sitting with the silence of my thoughts. Oh, it's a pleasure justified. Who knew having no meaning would sweet every second that I've got? I'm lost now. Passion for playing and singing on stage. What once was a joy now feels like a pain. It was my sanctuary. Now it's up in flames as I stand in the street. And the ash falls like rain as the plaque in the flame. My engraved name will burn with the pews and the altar and the flame. And I assume I'd always be there, chasing my own fame, devoted to myself. No limits to my shame. What a quick and explicit change. Oh, what a quick and explicit change. Oh, what a quick and explicit change. Okay, I know we've gone a little long. Sorry about that, but we'll say my you could have left it any time. Also, it's free. We're gonna play this one last song. It's called "Chair from Your Bones." You're gonna love it. It's kind of a playlist fodder for whatever reason. We released it in September. That last song we spent several years kind of trying to write from start to finish. This next one was written in about 15 minutes, kind of as a joke. #1 song on Spotify. Everyone seems to love it. That's how it goes sometimes. Creativity, never quite sure how it's going to react. But you can almost see the painting in its final form. After this next song, 5 minutes or so afterwards, if you want to go home with the painting, again, notebook over there, you can put your name, put a bid, Cash Card, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, whatever. We can figure it out. Look, there's usually a bit I do at the moment. Is all like, table over there. I know all you guys kind of saw it earlier and stuff. We had t-shirts, records, books, all that sort of stuff. I'm not into that bit. And capitalism aside, it's very easy, especially when art is your job, to forget that the entire point of getting in your car and wanting to drive all the way to Farland, Wisconsin, amongst other places on the way, is because when you're an artist, there's something you just can't say, that you make of something and you express something. Every piece of art is some artist going, I feel this way. And when you see that art, it's them asking the question, do you also feel this way? And from the most absurd to the most serious. And the entire point of art in general is it's just two humans trying to connect with each other. Part of the reason why I'm not really worried about AI art, not to get into that whole thing, but it's like the whole point is for humans to connect. And if you take that out, like, who cares? So whether or not you leave with something that says Pocket Vinyl or whatever, I very truly just hope you had a good time. Thanks you guys for coming to the thing earlier. Shame on you for not coming earlier. Sarah, thank you so much for just even being like, yeah, you know what, I think this would be cool. So I really appreciate you taking a chance on us.
We've enjoyed having you.
Yeah. And yeah, it's very easy to find Pocket Vinyl or her comic, The Turing Test, things online if you want. But, that said, if you think that, Pocket Vinyl makes the world a slightly better place, we'd appreciate the support in whatever form that takes, whether it's a like to $1 or whatever. So this is going to be our very last song. Again, it's called Chair from Your Bones. It's very much about two people. One of them has died. The other one loves the other person very much. And they decided, because of their last dying wish, to make things out of what they've left behind. It's kind of funny. It's kind of serious. You're kind of supposed to think about it and be like, how do I feel about this? So your emotions were perfect. But it's also apparently a very fun song. You'll see. Ready? Yeah. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll turn your skull to a cup. I'll decorate on the home. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a fork from your thumb. Fashion some dice from your toes. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make it level and straight. Stay the edges of throne. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make your head into a rug. I'm ready, color and tone. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a chair from your bones and marbles out of your eyes. I'll use the whole buffalo. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a chair from your bones. You tell me 12 in my string. I'll plug them on my bench. Oh, I'll make a chair from your bones. Oh, I can rap with that. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a whole gallery. Every part of you will show. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a lot in a sense. You will never be alone. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll treat your heart with respect. I'll petrify it in stone. I'll make a chair from your bones. I'll make a chair from your bones. I know your last dying wish. I love you more than you know. I'll make a to cheer from your bones. That's it. I didn't really see it very much. Sweet. Guys, thank you. Sometimes play a room to a lot of people and no one really cares. Other times you play a small room, or well, bigger room with a small amount of people, and these tend to almost always be more fun. So how about you? I had a really great time. If our lives never cross again, have a good one. But hope they do. This is our full-time job, so we'll probably be touring through, whether here or somewhere in Madison or whatever. If you move somewhere, we'll probably play there too. So hopefully we'll see you again. Anyway, thanks. Sarah, did you have any last minute announcements or
No,
anything?
I just wanted to say, we did have our copy of this book get checked out this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
But there is another one, so feel free to put a hold on it, so whenever that person returns it, you can then check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you hate librarians, as Eric said
Yeah, if you hate librarians, you can buy a book directly from us.
instead. I mean, it's kind of up to you.
Okay, I don't know what your opinions are.
But thank
Maybe you go to the library to hate it, like some sort of anti-protest or something.
Right,
I don't know.
right. But thank you for coming. Thank you to the Friends of the McFarland Library for sponsoring this. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's always nice to have your friends at the library to help out with things. So.
Yeah. And we'll leave the painting bidding open for 5 more minutes. If you want to think about it or whatever, we do a big kind of close off thing, you'll see. But if you want to come up, get a closer look, take a picture, feel free to do so. Fair warning, please do not touch it. It's still wet. And we've learned from experience, you don't touch paintings. You don't touch paintings. I don't know why. I think that's common sense, but it's still wet. Don't touch it. Sorry, some drama.
You're still working through it.
Yeah.
So you touch the paint?
Actually, part of the reason why we have drama is someone in North Dakota. It's in the book. Yeah, it's in the book though. It's a story in the book. He was an art professor. I'm not even going to get into it. He should have known better. Okay, whatever. At this point, I got to be like, yeah, get the book or whatever. And look, thank you very, very much. You can leave now. And I'll put on some music so we don't all feel weird.